You know who you want to be. You can feel it in your bones. But every time you reach for it, something pulls you back. Not a habit, not a mood, something that feels beyond your control, something that feels like it has its own agenda, and it does. Your old identity is not a memory. It's a living physical structure in your brain, and it fights to maintain itself. Your brain craves coherence. It wants the inside story to match the outside reality. When you've been one person for years, maybe even decades, your brain builds the entire architecture around that version of you. The neural pathways are insulated. The connections are deep. The story is quite literally wired in. And when you try to shift that identity, you're not just changing your mind, you're disrupting a system that has spent years achieving coherence. And the brain does not like disorder. It reads it as danger, as something to be corrected immediately. So it does what any system does when threatened. It reverts, it defaults, it pulls you back to the version of you that has the most neural infrastructure in place. Not because that version is better, but because it's efficient, because it's predictable, it's known, because the brain would rather be coherently miserable than disorderly uncertain. This is why affirmations fail. This is why motivation fades. You're trying to overwrite a physical structure with a thought. That's like whispering in a storm. What works is giving your brain a new structure to focus on, a new script, not a wish, a narrative, a completely new story with a new protagonist who behaves differently and sees the world differently and responds from a place of confidence and strength. Then take that narrative and repeat it until the brain starts laying down the new insulation around the pathways. The old identity doesn't go away. It just stops being the default one. You're not building a parallel structure. You're building a new one that's eventually faster, more efficient, and more coherent than the old one. The other one gets rotted and breaks down. The new one takes form. And one day your brain takes the new road instead of the old one. Not because you forced it, but because it became the more improved route. You cannot ignore this, and that's where everything starts to shift. Your old identity isn't your enemy. It's just the old infrastructure. And infrastructures can be rebuilt. So this week, stop fighting the old you. Instead, start writing the new one scene at a time, one deliberate, intentional repetition at a time. That's how your new self sticks.